Okay, welcome to video 2. We've spoken about dominance, went kind of deep. We'll see if this one goes in the same sort of area. This is another strategy that you can pick. One that we've found to work very good in the game, Das.
Oh yeah, it's everything.
Is collaboration and the concept that we get further together. So dive into it. I'm going to start looking up etymologies as you speak. So
okay, that sounds good. So collaboration. Yeah, collaboration. Ultimately, collaboration is defined as the idea of picking someone you want to work with, or picking a group of people you want to work with, or taking the group that you're currently working with and combining it with another group that is currently working together. Okay. So I'm fascinated by collaboration, largely because nothing happens without it. People often talk about the most beautiful memories you'll have in your life. The most meaningful moments are the ones that you spent with other people. Very common.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the reason behind that is because we're meant to be operating in collaboration. We're designed to be working together. We are pack animals for that reason. Human beings are pack animals. We hunt and gather in packs. And to be by ourselves and to feel as though we're isolated and alone. I'm not a doctor by any means. Don't ever plan to be. Do not listen to me and to caveat here. But, they say that, that isn't like lonely people. Isn't there a study done where like lonely people have less life expectancy or something like this? I know there was a TED talk on it where it's like it actually severely impacts your life to be lonely. So we thrive in packs of collaboration, and business is no different. The way we play the sales game is no different. The ability we have to generate a network, to generate meaningful relationships will go a long way to deciding how far your business is going to go, how much your sales numbers are going to grow as well. Steve, you tell the story of there was a mentor of yours who was multi-millionaire, and you had to help him write a speech, like multi-millionaire, but just couldn't get on stage and deliver a talk. And like you said to him, what's the one thing you'd like to give the world that you could talk about for your success? And he held up his phone and showed you his phone book and said, all of the money you'll ever make is in this phone book. Of who is in your phone, whose numbers have you got, who could you call right now? I think that just goes a long way. The best people have known forever. This is a game of collaboration, for sure.
It really is. It really is.
Now, that's it. Collaboration, that's what it is as a definition. Now, defining it as a strategy, this is where it gets fun. So collaboration is super important, but also remember that it is a strategy, and so it doesn't need to be a way that you live. It becomes a strategy that you use. Ideally, when it comes to the sales game, it's the strategy you use more often than you don't. But at the same time, that presupposes that isolation can be a strategy you can use as well.
Sure.
If you go to work every single day and you're working in a team environment, it is a good strategy to go home and spend some time by yourself on an evening. It's a good strategy to be in one particular pond, but if you want to achieve particular results in another area of life, that may mean leaving that pond to go into another. That's going to require you isolating yourself from that pond before you find your new family. Does that make sense? Isolation is just as much of a strategy as collaboration. It's just that we've found in playing the sales game and in playing sales as a game, collaboration is far more successful in the long run, but not without isolation.
Of course. I think that's a really good point. I think the key thing that I'm starting to uncover just listening to you run through these is that this again is this is all linking to the core principle number one, which is to know yourself. And I think so often we go through business, life, whatever it may be, doing a bunch of different things, but not deliberately or not without some sort of objective viewpoint of being conscious that you're doing a particular thing, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I think this is a cool part, even when you talk about isolation and collaboration, is, are you aware of when you're in each of them, or is it just happening to you? Being conscious of this is, I think, a really, really key part. Key thing that I would like to jump into from the etymology side of things is It's French again, collaboration, and it's a late word actually. It came around in the 1830s, so it's pretty new word.
Wow.
Pretty new word, really, from the word collaboration as a whole, and it really stems to it's an act of working together in united labor. So I think there's a little bit of a secret in that. It also stems from an earlier word, which was Latin collaborare, something like that, which translates to work with, and it's assimilated with the form of com, which is with, or laborare, which is to work. So it's to work with, it's united labor, it's the act of working together. But here's a key distinction I think is really interesting. I think it plays back to the fair exchange part, because essentially what you're entering into in any form of collaboration is the fair exchange type of philosophy.
Yes.
Because the word cooperation or collaboration was actually used in a bad sense as far as this, which was termed to become a collaborationist, which was talking about treacherous cooperation with an occupying enemy.
Interesting.
So you also need to be mindful of who you're collaborating with.
That's great.
I think there's a bit of wisdom in that, is you don't want to work into treacherous cooperation with an occupying enemy.
Yeah. The key I'm taking away from that, Steve, in terms of the etymology of the word, is the word work or labor was involved.
For sure.
You know, a lot of people get together and they're like, let's collaborate. And their version of collaboration is getting around and gossiping for the next 2 hours.
Or just taking, just give me leads or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
It's to work.
To actually work together towards something meaningful. That's what collaboration is. If it's not meaningful, it's hardly collaboration. It's wasting time, as far as we're talking about in the sales game.
Yeah. So I think it's a really interesting thing. I think, have you taken an objective view of collaboration? Are you being deliberate in who you're spending time with? Have you thought about isolation strategy on the opposite side? But really understanding that if you're entering into a collaborative environment, it requires united labor and work.
Question I'd love to ask everyone in relation to this is, and everyone knows that there is an answer to this they're not working on at the moment or that they've ignored, but the question is this: who do you know you need to start collaborating with that you haven't had the courage to actually approach yet? That's number one. And number two is, who do you need to isolate yourself from that you know you're not doing yet?
Brilliant.
Between those two, chances are you'll be in a pretty different spot in 90 days if you exercise both of them.
That's good juju.
Questions, comments down below. Let us know.